Think about the last comment you left on the internet. Now think about every comment you've read today. Every reply. Every reaction. Every, "I totally agree," and "this is so true," and "exactly what I was thinking." Every like, every share. Every angry response to a post that made you feel something. Now ask yourself, how many of those were written by a human being? The answer, increasingly, is fewer than you think. And the direction of travel is toward a number so small it will fundamentally change what the internet is, what it does, and what it means to participate in it. According to Imperva's 2024 BadBot report, 49.6% of all internet traffic in 2023 was non-human. Bots, automated programs running without human operators in real time, generated almost exactly half of everything that moved across the internet last year. That is not a rounding error. That is not a fringe statistic from a questionable source. That is the majority of the internet's activity, measured by one of the most respected cybersecurity research firms in the world. And among that non-human traffic, 32% was classified as malicious bots designed to scrape data, spread misinformation, fake engagement, manipulate search rankings, and generate the appearance of human activity where none exists. You have been scrolling through a ghost town that has learned to impersonate a crowd. This is not a conspiracy theory. The dead internet theory, the idea, circulating in forums since at least 2021, that the internet has been quietly taken over by artificial intelligence and automated systems such that the majority of content, engagement, and interaction is no longer generated by real human beings, was once dismissed as paranoid. It is no longer being dismissed, it is being measured. To understand how we got here, you need to understand the economic engine that built the internet. Because the dead internet is not an accident. It is not a glitch. It is the logical, inevitable output of a specific set of financial incentives that have been running without correction for more than a decade. The internet, in its current form, runs on attention. Not information, not connection, not community. Attention. Every platform, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Reddit, Google, monetizes your attention by selling it to advertisers. The more time you spend on the platform, the more ads you see, the more revenue the platform generates. This model is called the attention economy, and it has shaped every decision made by every major platform for the last 15 years. The attention economy has a specific requirement: content. Lots of it. More of it. Constantly. Every day. Forever. The platforms don't create content. They host it. And they have built algorithmic systems designed to surface whatever content generates the most engagement, the most clicks, the most comments, the most time on page. Because engagement is the proxy for attention, and attention is the product being sold. Here is where the problem begins. Creating genuine, original, human content is slow, expensive, and difficult. Creating artificial content using AI to generate text, images, videos, and audio is fast, cheap, and increasingly indistinguishable from the real thing. The economics are not subtle. If you can generate 100 blog posts in an hour using AI versus spending a week writing one carefully researched article, and both rank similarly in search results and both generate similar ad revenue, the incentive structure is completely clear. You flood the zone, you produce volume, you optimize for algorithmic ranking rather than human value. This is what is now happening at industrial scale. A data security researcher named Edward Tian, creator of the AI detection tool GPT-0, estimated in 2023 that AI-generated content had increased by over 900% since the public release of ChatGPT. Content farms websites that exist solely to produce text for search engine optimization have almost entirely converted to AI generation. The cost of producing a piece of search-optimized content fell from roughly $20 to $50 per article to under $1. The supply of low-quality AI-generated content on the internet has therefore exploded, crowding out human-created content in search rankings, polluting research results, and filling the spaces where genuine human expression used to live. But the content explosion is only half the story. The other half is engagement. Search engines and social media platforms don't just rank content by how many people click on it, they rank it by how many people engage with it. Comments, shares, reactions, time spent. If a piece of content generates lots of comments, the algorithm concludes that it is valuable and surfaces it to more people. This created a parallel incentive: fake the engagement. Bot networks, sometimes called engagement farms, sometimes sock puppet networks, sometimes astroturfing operations, exist specifically to generate artificial engagement signals. You buy 10,000 fake comments, you buy 50,000 fake likes. The algorithm sees what looks like an engaged audience and promotes your content to real humans, who then provide genuine engagement on top of the artificial foundation, creating a feedback loop that is almost impossible for any automated system to distinguish from organic virality. This is not theoretical. Researchers at Stanford Internet Observatory, the Oxford Internet Institute, and the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab have documented bot networks operating at industrial scale across every major platform. Twitter, before its acquisition and subsequent gutting of trust and safety teams, had acknowledged in SEC filings that between 5 and 10% of its monetizable daily active users may have been bots, and independent researchers consistently estimated the real figure was higher. After Elon Musk's acquisition and the reduction of content moderation, bot activity on the platform measurably increased. Facebook has acknowledged removing billions of fake accounts per year. Not millions, billions in quarterly transparency reports per year. And these are only the accounts that are detected and removed. The accounts that successfully evade detection are by definition not counted. The result of all of this is a mediascape, in which the signals you use to determine what is real, what is popular, what is trustworthy, and what other people believe have been systematically corrupted. When you see a post with 100,000 likes, you are seeing a number that may partially or substantially reflect bot activity. When you read a comment section, you may be reading a manufactured consensus designed to make you believe that certain views are widespread. When you search for information and see dozens of articles saying the same thing, you may be seeing the output of a single AI system producing content at scale, indexed and ranked by an algorithm that cannot distinguish volume from veracity. The companies building the most powerful AI systems on Earth are simultaneously the companies most directly responsible for the acceleration of this problem. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, Meta, and others have released language models capable of generating text indistinguishable from human writing by most automated detection systems. The release of these models was not accompanied by robust infrastructure to prevent their misuse for content farming and engagement manipulation. The economic incentive to use them that way was obvious before release. The safeguards were inadequate. And here is the feedback loop that makes this problem self-compounding in a way that is genuinely alarming. AI language models are trained on internet data. The more AI-generated content floods the internet, the more future AI models are trained on AI-generated content rather than human-generated content. Researchers call this model collapse, a phenomenon in which AI systems trained on AI-generated data progressively degrade, producing increasingly distorted, bland, or incoherent output because the diversity and specificity of genuine human experience has been diluted out of the training data. The Internet, as the primary source of training data for the most powerful AI systems in the world, is being contaminated by the output of those same systems. The snake is eating its own tail at machine speed. The specific economic incentive that is driving this, the advertising-based attention economy, has no internal mechanism for correction. Platforms profit from engagement, not from authenticity. An AI-generated article that generates clicks earns the same ad revenue as a human-written one. A bot-generated comment that triggers real human reactions is, from the platform's perspective, indistinguishable from a genuine comment. The platforms have weak incentives to clean up the problem and strong incentives to tolerate it, because the volume of content and engagement that bots generate inflates their reported metrics and therefore their advertising rates. Vanessa Wingord, whose video "The Internet is Dying" accumulated over 490,000 views in 9 months, put it precisely in her opening line: "The World Wide Web connected us until it was monetized. The moment connection became a product, the product was optimized. The optimization produced volume. The volume produced noise. The noise is now drowning out the signal. There are human beings fighting back against this. Wikipedia, run by volunteers, maintains some of the most aggressively human-curated information on the internet. Small independent publishers, newsletters, and community platforms are growing precisely because their audiences trust that a human being made them. Open-source detection tools for AI-generated content are improving, though the detection arms race consistently favors generation over detection. Several legal and regulatory frameworks are beginning to engage with the problem. The European Union's AI Act includes provisions requiring the labeling of AI-generated content. The United States Federal Trade Commission has signaled interest in enforcement around deceptive AI-generated reviews and endorsements. Platform-level policies requiring disclosure of AI-generated content have been announced, though enforcement is inconsistent and largely unverified. But the fundamental economic architecture that created the dead internet remains intact. The attention economy is still the business model of the internet. The cost of generating fake content and fake engagement is still approaching zero. The algorithmic systems that reward engagement without verifying its authenticity are still running. The internet you use today is not the internet that was built. It is a simulation of that internet, overlaid with a parallel economy of artificial signals designed to manipulate your behavior, inflate platform metrics, sell advertising, and extract your genuine attention, which remains, despite everything, the only resource in this system that cannot be faked. Your attention is real. Everything competing for it may not be. You wake up. The screen glows. You check your phone, tapping agree on a terms of service update without a second thought. At the grocery store, you scan your loyalty card. Every click and every purchase feeds a massive, invisible machine. You think you are the customer, but you are the product. You try to hide. You pay for data removal services to scrub your name and toggle off every location permission. You switch to a privacy browser and pay with cold cash to stay off the grid. For one brief moment, you feel untraceable, a ghost in the machine. But the silence is a lie. You cannot opt out of credit reports, property records, or voter rolls. These systems are the backbone of the modern economy. Your profile is already bought, sold, and traded dozens of times behind your back. Algorithms now decide your insurance rates, your job prospects, and your credit limits in the shadows. They built a surveillance infrastructure more powerful than any government. They mapped your life one click at a time. You are not just using the internet. You are being harvested. The sale is already complete.
Thanks for watching Macro Explainer. Subscribe for more clear breakdowns.